Okay, this is preparation for assessment of MS4 Section B. And the lesson objectives are to list 5 facts about social media, explain how Rihanna uses social media to market her brand, explain how the music industry is globalised, and explain key media issues, especially globalisation and liberal pluralism. So by the end of the lesson, you should be able to do all of those things. And links to assessment. As I said, this is MS4 Section B, and the key issues you need to get to grips with are globalisation, targeting audiences and audience pleasures, the impact of digital technologies, and marketing strategies. And you'll be assessed on this in the next lesson. So starting with social media trends, we're just going to have a look at a few facts and figures. This is a fairly up-to-date picture of the social media landscape at the moment. You can see we've got microblog sites like Twitter, we've got sharing sites like Flickr and YouTube, Last.fm, and then we've got genuine social networks such as Facebook, LinkedIn and MySpace. Now, Americans spend more than 3 hours a day using social media. This research is from Ipsos, so it's from a very good source. And globally, 35 billion hours a month are spent on social media. So that's 35 billion hours a month people are using social media. That's 1 in every 5 online minutes. So that means that for every 5 minutes that people are online, 1 minute is spent using social media websites, which probably suggests that there's not a lot of work being done. So here's the globe. And by 2014, 1.85 billion people will be using social networks. That's globally. However, that's still only 26% of the world's population. So even though 1.85 billion is a huge number, there's still a lot of the world's population that doesn't have internet access. And China, by 2014, will have the largest social networking population in the world. So they will be the biggest social market in the world for digital media. So have a think about what this means for the music industry going forward into 2014. Now, in terms of advertising on social media, Facebook dominates paid for social advertising, and you can see that Facebook ad revenues, so the amount of money that they make from advertising, is predicted to be $7.64 billion by 2014, which has gone up year on year since 2011. However, there is still some debate about whether social media advertising is actually effective. Does it actually work? Does it actually make people buy things? However, we've got technological convergence, which you know about. Things like the iPhone, Kindle Fire, iPad, and the Windows phones, which has led to a huge rise in the number of mobile devices that can access the internet. So obviously that's 24 hours a day, anywhere in the world. And in terms of global internet device sales, the projection is that by 2016 there will be 2.5 billion mobile devices that can access the internet. So, to summarise, the social media trends, there's a rise in global users, However, there's still a significant part of the world that doesn't have access to the internet, and China is going to be the biggest social media user by 2014. We've got technological convergence, which means a rise in internet access, and also a rise in the ability of institutions being able to access their audiences and their customers. So what I want you to think about is what this means for the music industry. So list 5 consequences of the changes in social media for the music industry, and I'd like you to make notes on this. Okay, moving on to the impact of digital and social media on the music industry. And the behaviour of fans and the way that fans use social media. At any one time, you can be sharing on Facebook about your favourite bands, sharing songs or information, and tweeting about your favourite artists. You can be discovering new music on Last.fm and Spotify, posting gig photos on Flickr, sharing playlists, commenting on artists' videos on YouTube, and even uploading re-edits of your favourite artists' videos, or even making spoof videos, parody videos. So we're spending 15 to 20% more each year on digital music. And obviously this is balancing out the money that we're not spending anymore on CDs. However, 95% of digital music is not paid for, so there is a lot of illegal downloading, and this is a huge problem for the music industry. But the music industry is adapting. Now, you already know of quite a few examples of this. I'm just going to give you another one. The band Jimmy World got 20% of their album sales from Twitter. And they know that because more than 20% of the traffic to the album download page on their website came from links from their Twitter feed. So there is some proof here that Twitter does work, social media does work in selling music. So what are the advantages of the new digital landscape for audiences? Well, we can comment on YouTube, which creates this democratic involvement and a very active audience. And we get self-identity, belonging needs through online fan communities. So we feel part of a community through the particular artist or band that we're interested in. I'm going to show you a little case study of Amanda Palmer. You can watch the video if you like. Amanda Palmer is a kind of a punk artist, and she set up a website called postwartrade.com with a few other artists. And this is it. It sells all sorts of merchandise. You can buy the albums, you can buy singles, and you can buy various other things on there, posters and t-shirts. And also, what was interesting is that fans could sell their own band-related merchandise. So fans could actually make things that are inspired by the band and sell them through the site. And here we've got Amanda Palmer's album, and this is some of the merchandise. I'm not really sure what that is. So the site also has a pay what you want policy. She doesn't say that people have to pay for the music, but she just says pay what you think it's worth. So I think this is very interesting. It's changed the way that we interact with each other through social media and through the internet. digital technologies have democratized the internet, meaning that we have far more power. Instead of having to open a shop, you can just sell your goods on eBay or on Amanda Palmer's site. So as audiences, we're now fully engaged. We're no longer passive. We are active creators and participants. We can create media and we can participate fully in a two-way communication. So moving on, how is the music industry using digital and social media? Well, obviously Lady Gaga is an expert in manipulating social media. And we also, of course, have Rihanna, who's your case study. And she has 28 million followers on Twitter, which is a huge number. And as a brand, she's selling music, she's selling fashion, including her line for River Island. She's got a TV fashion program, she's selling perfume and concerts. So she's using social media to market a whole range of products that come under the Rihanna brand. And here you've got her new perfume and the label for her line for River Island. She uses Twitter and Instagram a lot, and she combines business with personal updates. And this creates a really personal link with her fans, but also markets her. These are some of her tweets where she's talking about what she's done personally, but she's also making sure that she's reinforcing her brand image and selling products. And Rihanna, of course, creates controversy, and this creates free viral marketing. So if we have a look at some of Rihanna's Instagram photos that she's uploaded, smoking drugs, getting back together with Chris Brown, and then she's posting things about having had sex, which she knows is going to be controversial, and she knows that people are going to spread virally, and that's all going to enhance her marketing. So Rihanna communicates all this to a global audience. She is a global brand. So let's have a think about globalization and the media. The definition of globalization is all of those processes by which the peoples of the world are incorporated into a single world society. And it was a couple of sociologists, Martin Albro and Elizabeth King, who came up with that definition. And it's quite a good definition because it incorporates both the global activity of companies and corporations, but it also incorporates how audiences can access global media as well. And if we think about Warner's, which is the company to which Rihanna and Psy are both signed on different sides of the world, they are a global media corporation. And we have hardware. We have companies like Samsung and Apple. They make smartphones, smart TVs, iPads and iPhones, and we also have the software. And these things enable companies and corporations to reach audiences. So, has globalization facilitated the Americanization of the world? Well, maybe. We've definitely got American cultural imperialism. America dominates the world's popular music. However, it's also brought other cultures to our attention. So things like K-pop, which is Korean popular music, is now much more visible to Western audiences. And as audiences, we have access to a far wider range of global music than ever before. Now, moving on to liberal pluralism, which is linked to the idea of social and digital media. We've got this growth in niche audiences. Niche audiences are small, specialised audiences, which is enabled by the internet. And this, you could say, has led to a more liberal pluralist media, and I'll explain what that means. Liberal pluralism is the belief that the media is independent from the state, independent from government, and that the audience can manipulate and use the media to its own ends, and that the media offers something for all audiences. That's in opposition to Marxists, who believe that the media is a tool of the capitalist ruling elite. So that's the people who are in charge of society. And the media is used ideologically to communicate the ideas and values of that elite. So we've got two opposing points of view, two opposing theories. And in your essays, you can weigh up the pros and cons using the evidence that you have from the music industry. So think about it. Do we have a liberal pluralist media? You'll need to provide evidence for and against this theory. It may come up in a number of the possible questions in section B. So to summarise then, some of the terminology I've covered: convergence, democracy, user text interaction, active audiences, globalization, cultural imperialism, niche audiences, and liberal pluralism. You need to make sure that you understand all of these terms thoroughly. These are all either theories, issues, and debates that you will need to know for the exam. So let's review the lesson objectives. By now, you should be able to list 5 facts about social media. You should be able to explain how Rihanna uses social media to market her brand, and this information should add to what you already have from your research. You should be able to explain how the music industry is globalized, and you should be able to add your own examples to this. And you should be able to explain both globalization and liberal pluralism. Now, there will be some further reading on Moodle if you're not sure, and also you can always Google these terms and do a bit more research or ask me. Make sure that you're ready for assessment in the next lesson. There will be a range of assessment tasks to do, so make sure you just bring in your notes and read through your notes before the lesson.